Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, in today's video, I'm going to tell the story of Grace Millane. Now, we all want the best for our children, don't we? We want them to experience life to its fullest. And when my son was born, one of my very best friends sent me this poem by Khalil Gibran, and I'm going to read it out to you and show it on the screen. Oh, by the way, thank you to everyone for liking, subscribing, being members, buying coffees, sending super stickers, etc. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, any other content creator. Thank you. Okay, so let's have a look at this poem. Now, I think it's a very poignant poem. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you, for life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. Now, I remember her sending me that poem, handwritten out on a lovely card. And I remember it really had a big impression on me, even though I didn't even know the half of it then. Which struck me even then how true it was. But there I was with a baby, and wanted a baby, desperately wanted a baby for so long. There I was with my baby, and there you are. You can't look forward to what's going to happen in the future, can you? You know, and you can't even imagine it. Because when our children are young, we don't appreciate what short time that is. That short time that we have with our children when they're totally dependent on us, and they think we're wonderful, and they agree with everything we say, and we think we're bringing them up in our image in a way, don't we? That time, they just want to be with us all the time. We can control what they do, where they go. We can keep them safe. And then all too soon, and in the end, almost overnight, they start to listen to their friends more, don't they? They want to do more and more things independently of us. And we have to let them go. And it's hard. We should encourage them to follow their dreams. Now, many young people these days, they go travelling, don't they? All around the world, to far-flung countries that I have never visited. Many of us have never visited. In my youth, this was not common. I always wanted to do it. I had that wanderlust when I was young, but we didn't have the money to do it. I didn't have the wherewithal to do it. You know, my parents were not, you know, they didn't travel, they didn't go far. And this, luckily, so it depends which way you look at it, this has not happened yet with my son. But so many people that I know have waved off their young adult children, so adults but still young, to various far-flung parts of the globe. Now, my own son did go to Iceland for 3 weeks when he was only 13 to stay with the family of a friend of his. And I remember then I felt like he had dropped off the edge of the earth. Imagine if then later on when he was 18, he'd gone off to Thailand or New Zealand or Borneo or all these different exotic countries that young people go to these days. Because even now when he goes out with friends, when he's out, I find my mind wandering to sort of stabbings that I've read about, or accidents on a dangerous road nearby where we live. You know, I don't think you ever properly rest until that you know they're home safely, whatever their age. That's if they live with you, of course. If they're off travelling around the world, you don't know what time they're getting in. You don't know what time they're going out. You don't know who they're going out with. You can only hope and pray that they are safe. So my heart broke for the parents of Grace Millane when I read about this case years ago. Grace Millane was a young girl who wanted to follow her dreams of travel. Let's have a look at a photo of, well, there's a photo up in the corner there, but let's have a better look at a photo of just finished university. And so she was born in 1996, and this happened in 2018. So she was 22 years old. I'll leave the photo up while I'll tell you a little bit about her. So yeah, Grace Emmie Rose Millane, and Grace was born in the UK, in Wickford, in Essex, on the 2nd of December 1996. So let's have a look. We've been to Essex a few times for a few cases. Now, this is not where the incidents happened, where poor Grace, oops, sorry, I need to take that off. Hang on. The events that stole Grace's life away from her did not happen in the UK, but this is where she was from. So for those of you who watch my channel regularly, you probably know where Essex is by now. I've done cases from Basildon. Of course, Nicola Bully was from Essex, Southwood and Ferrers. You know, we have looked at Essex a few times in cases that I've done. And for those of you who still don't know where Essex is, it's just here outside London, in the south of the UK, south of England. And that is where. So it's very close to Basildon, which of course Basildon is the Nicola Ray case, a missing lady who's never been found. 30-year-old Nicola Ray. I did an unsolved video about Nicola Ray. So just near there, Wickford, next to Basildon, that is where Grace was born. And in 1996. So she'd recently graduated from the University of Lincoln with a bachelor's degree in advertising and marketing. Let's put her picture back up. So it's important that we remember Grace, that we see her for the person she was, how beautiful she was. You know, she was a young girl just on the threshold of her life. You know, she'd become a woman, finished university, so taking, you know, what so many young people do before she got bogged down with a job and work and maybe children, marriage, etc. She was going out and having a good time, traveling around the world. And, you know, anybody should be able to do that if they want to do it, young or old. So she'd just graduated from the University of Lincoln with a bachelor's degree in advertising and marketing, and she was on a backpacking tour during her gap year. After spending 6 weeks in South America, Grace came to Auckland in New Zealand on the 20th of November 2018 to spend 2 weeks there, but alone. So let's have a look at Auckland. For any of you who don't know where Auckland is, if you don't know much about New Zealand in general. Let's just have a look. So this is New Zealand. New Zealand is this sort of country, probably so far away from the UK, but close to Australia. Well, I say close, I mean, it's not just up the road, but it's probably closer to Australia if you know Australia. And New Zealand is this very small country here, a very isolated, if you like. You know, it's not landlocked at all. You know, it's New Zealand, it's a complete island. And not only that, there's not many other islands close by it, and the nearest place is Australia, which looks fair distance across the Tasman Sea. And here's Auckland up here in the north area of New Zealand, and that is where Grace decided to go on her own. I'm not sure why she went on her own, because I think she'd been with friends while she was traveling around South America. But of course, you should be able to go on your own if you want to. You shouldn't be in any danger, any more danger traveling alone than you are when you're traveling with other people. It shouldn't make any difference whatsoever. You should be safe wherever you go, shouldn't you? Anyway, this is where Grace went, and she was there, as I say, alone. So, and while she was there in New Zealand, she did what so many young people do, and I know so many young people who do it, whichever part of the world they're in. They use the Tinder app to reach out for friendship, or more, maybe a hookup. That is, you know, what young people do these days. While she was in the area there, it doesn't matter. The thing with Tinder is it doesn't matter where you are, because you know, you will find a hookup. And for those of you who don't know about Tinder, you know, it's a dating app, if you like, or friendship, or more sort of app, or casual relationship type app, that you sort of go through. You match. If you see someone you like, you switch one way, don't you, if you like them, and then if two of you switch that you like each other, you get a match, and then it goes from there, doesn't it? And I think generally it's thought of as an app for casual relationships, but sometimes people have met through Tinder and it's turned into a more sort of a stable relationship. You know, this is the way people meet up these days, young people. This is Auckland. You know, looks like a beautiful city, big city by the looks of it. So that's where Grace was, and she was on Tinder. But unfortunately for her, one of the men she matched with was Jesse Kempson. So unfortunately, we do have to have a look at him. This is Jesse. And unfortunately for Grace, because she did not know, and he had a history of Essex offences, but he was still walking free. And of course, Grace did not know this. That's the problem with Tinder or any of these kind of things. I mean, listen, sometimes you can get hurt by a twonk that maybe you've known since you were in high school and everybody knows them. Doesn't necessarily mean that because you meet someone online that they're going to turn out to be an absolute twonk like Jesse did. But you do not know anything about them. I mean, he was a local boy from New Zealand. Grace knew nothing about him except what he told her. And of course, it turns out that what he told her was not the truth. So he would not only steal her future from her, but as part of his own defense, he would try and blacken her memory. He is a truly foul predator of women. He's a real horror. Anyway, let's chat. So, Grace's family, thousands of miles away in the UK, began to worry when she did not reply to birthday wishes. Her birthday was on the 2nd of December 2018, and unbeknownst to them, the night before, she had gone out with Jesse. So when she did not reply to her birthday wishes, they started to worry, and they contacted immediately the police in New Zealand, because what your child is like, don't you? I would imagine that Grace probably contacted them every day, to let them know she was okay. Some kids tend to be boys, doesn't it? That may be different. Maybe you'd only hear from them every couple of days. Sometimes you send a message, you don't get an immediate reply, you panic. Gosh, how many times myself and my friends who have also got boys, we sat watching their WhatsApp statuses, to see if they'd been online. Because sometimes, even though they haven't answered you, you can see that they've been online, or you can see that they're online because it'll say they're online. So then at least they're okay, or it looks like they're okay. Because sometimes young people, they just don't think that their parents. I've done it myself when I was young. I'm sure we all have. What are you worrying about? Well, I'm fine. What are you worrying about me for? We don't, because we think we're invincible. We don't understand why our parents would worry so much about us. Anyway, so they reported her missing 3 days later after trying to contact her, etc. And the hotel she was staying at reported that she had not returned to her room on the 1st of December, that she'd gone out on the 1st of December and she had not returned to her room. Now, initially, surprise, surprise, the police did not suspect foul play. Sounds familiar? Seems like the police are the same all over the world in this, doesn't it? Anyway, shortly afterwards, though, only 6 days later, by the 8th of December, 6 days after she'd gone missing, 7 days after she'd gone missing, and if her parents reported her missing 2 days later, so that would be the 4th. So 4 days after that, by the 8th of December, so very quickly, they had gathered evidence that suggested she was no longer alive. and they announced that they were treating the disappearance as homicide. And on this very same day, that 26-year-old man, Jesse Shane Kempson, was charged with her murder. The following day, the day after Jessie was charged, her body was found in the Waitakere Ranges to the west of Auckland. Now, let me just show you that area where her body was found. This is the sort of area, again, so it reminded me a lot of, various terrains that we've seen where people's remains have finally been found. They did well to find her, and I expect that was due to phone data and things like that, being able to trace where Jessie had gone. Because otherwise, how would they have known? How would they possibly have known that she was there, except maybe by by phone data, or maybe he had something on his car, or CCTV, vehicle recognition, the number plate recognition. But anyway, they found her. They found her the very next day, but they had already arrested Jessie. And let's just have another reminder of Jessie. Now, in the early stages, there weren't many photos released of Jessie, because after it was a little bit like Patrick Stevenson in the Samantha Murphy case. Originally, he was not allowed to be identified, so his face always had to be covered for a while. But anyway, that didn't last very long, because people just started saying who he was, actually saying his name, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later. So, although he wasn't supposed to be identified, certainly in New Zealand, outside New Zealand, and particularly in the United Kingdom, of course, where Grace was from, his name was being openly bandied around. Now, when it was heard, a tourist, because that's what Grace was, she was a tourist, had been murdered, and sort of details started to emerge that she'd been murdered by a Kiwi, a guy from New Zealand. The news of Grace's death, it generated an unprecedented reaction from the New Zealand public. They were outraged, and no one more outraged and more emotional than the then Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern. And she made a public apology to the family of Grace on the 10th of December. And we're going to have a look at that. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Jacinda Ardern. I don't understand that. I always liked her when she was, she always seemed to say the right thing. Anyway, that's how it always appeared to me. And I think it probably started with watching her talk about this case. She always seemed to find the right words, Jacinda, and during COVID as well. But anyway, that's just my opinion. As I say, I know a lot of people have different opinions, and it wouldn't do if we were all the same, would it? Let me find. Here we go. So we're going to look at her apology. I thought it was genuine. I thought it was heartfelt, and I thought it struck the right tone, in my opinion.
The family of Grace Millane should have been waiting for the latest update from her round-the-world journey. Instead, they watched as a man was accused of her murder. Despite our cameras being allowed in court, this is all we can show you of the 26-year-old. His defence lawyer having successfully argued for his identity to be protected.
Another young person, he's younger than my son. I suppose as your children get older, I suppose when I was 26, I thought I knew everything. You don't think that you're still so young, but so very young. Another young man, for being prosecuted for a terrible crime. Not just the usual sort of mistakes that people make when they're young. actual horrible crime. And my heart does go out to his family too, because that's not easy to know that your son, the person you've given birth to if you're the mother, and the person that you've produced if you're the father, is responsible for a crime like this. It must be difficult.
The following has to be suppressed. Anything that might identify you, and any still photographs or film or sound footage that might identify you.
Grace's father had come to New Zealand to appeal for help in finding her.
So this is Grace's father, David, and he went to New Zealand early on. The mother couldn't go. Anyway, I think they both went back for the trial of when he was finally tried. But anyway, I've got more to tell you about the family shortly.
He was seen leaving his hotel this morning, just before the 26-year-old man appeared in court for her murder. The Prime Minister's voice faltered as she made this apology to the Millane family for their loss.
On behalf of New Zealand, I want to apologise to Grace's family. Your daughter should have been safe here, and she wasn't, and I'm sorry for that.
Grace's body was discovered on Sunday in woodland on the outskirts of Auckland. She was found by forensic teams a week after she went missing from the city centre. The man charged with her murder was seen with her in CCTV footage entering a hotel in the city centre. It was revealed in court that the 26-year-old had...
Now we'll be looking at a lot of CCTV shortly. Some of it, I think his face has been blocked out. Some of it hasn't. But we'll be watching. There was a lot of CCTV that helped convict this guy.
Had been living here at the City Life Hotel. It is where Grace was last seen just before 10 p.m. on Saturday the 1st of December. This was the first step in what the judge said would be a long legal process.
I'll explain it if you give me an
Grace's family can only hope it ultimately leads to justice. However, why the 22-year-old was killed is a question they may never be able to answer. Debbie Edward, ITV News, Auckland.
Okay, we're going to look at a bit of a fuller video of Jacinda talking.
I would like to start with a comment on the murder of Grace Millane, having received a number of media queries about this tragedy. Firstly, I cannot imagine the grief of her family and what they will be experiencing and feeling right now. And my thoughts and prayers are with her father, David, who is in the country, her mother, Gillian, who cannot be here, and her wider family, friends, and loved ones. You know, from the Kiwis I have spoken to, there is this overwhelming sense of hurt and shame that this has happened in our country, a place that prides itself on our hospitality, on our manaakitanga, especially to those who are visiting our shores. And so, on behalf of New Zealand, I want to apologise to Grace's family. Your daughter should have been safe here, and she wasn't, and I'm sorry for that. I've advised the family through the police that if there is anything we can do to assist, we are here to help with that.
So yeah, personally, I thought it was a very heartfelt statement. I thought it was genuine, you know, so that was my opinion anyway. Okay. So it turned out that Grace had met up with Jesse after them finding each other on the dating app Tinder. CCTV showed that they'd met up in a bar and spent some time together before going back to Jesse's hotel room. They looked comfortable in each other's company, if maybe a little drunk, as they went up to his room in the lift. And we're going to look at the CCTV now. Now, one thing I do want to say is the next day after Grace was murdered, because she was murdered on that night when she went back to the hotel room with Jesse. On the next day, Jesse went out on another Tinder date while Grace's body was lying in his hotel room. He went and met up with another girl who, luckily for her, didn't like him. Just wanted to say that. Anyway, let's have a look at this CCTV. So there's quite a lot of it. We're going to look at it and I'll probably comment here and there. And credit to the Herald YouTube channel. They put it all together in one thing. I'll give them a credit in the credits as well. Okay, let's see. So this starts off in a bar where they met up on the 1st of December 2018 at approximately 5:37 p.m. So this is Grace leaving the hotel to go and meet this twonk. God, you wish you could just get hold of her and pull her back. Say, don't go, please don't go. So very sad. So there he is. He's there standing outside the pub, waiting for Grace to arrive. Now I'm hoping, only he knows the truth. Hopefully he wasn't planning on killing Grace. You know, what was he planning on? You know, as far as we know, although he has got history of sex crimes, as far as we know, he's never actually murdered anyone before. So hopefully as he was standing there, he wasn't thinking he was going to kill her. Having said that, I don't think he lived in this hotel that he took her back to. Did he just rent the hotel room, you know, with the idea of, you know, getting some girl back there? And if they didn't cooperate, thing with Jesse is if they said no, they were gonna have to do it anyway. As far as he's concerned, he doesn't know what the answer no is. That's been proven by his other convictions that it turned out that he had. He doesn't take no for an answer, Jesse. It looks like he's already had a drink by then, to be honest. You can see he's a big guy. And this is as they meet. She looks tiny next to him, doesn't she? You know, that's, I don't know. I mean, I suppose he's not a bad-looking guy. I mean, obviously, he gives me the clue with him to his hotel room. You can see that later when you'll see them in the lift. She looks comfortable with him. She doesn't appear to be there against her will. You know, she was just enjoying herself. Why shouldn't she? CCTVs of somebody's last moments. You could say to her, no, he's a wrong 'un. He's a wrong 'un. But of course you can't. And life just going on there, people just going on about their normal day all over the world because they'd been in the same place where a murder victim had gone. And it was her birthday eve. Bless her. Now, something you should know about Jesse is he was a Walter Mitty character, turns out. He lied about everything. Everything. He told lies about what he did. I mean, God knows where he was getting his money from at that time, his parents. You know, he's a bit of a Stefan Stearns character, bit of a Walter Mitty, can't believe anything he says, but he probably had the right stories to impress Grace, you know. She looks like you know, you can see, to me, in this CCTV, which is ever so sad, you can tell that she quite likes him. He's tall, he's good looking, he's probably flashing money around, you know, he probably paid for everything. She has no reason to think that this is going to be her last evening. She's very smiley. He's very smiley, actually. Now, as the night goes on, you'll see they do seem to, well, he's certain. Don't know if she looks that drunk, but he certainly looks quite drunk as the night goes on. They probably both had a bit to drink. You know, that's what you do when you go out, isn't it? So I think they have something to eat here. So this is sort of tea time-ish, isn't it? Like maybe by about 6 o'clock by now. Is there any place? I don't know. Or maybe they had a cocktail. He's paying. They're getting it. She touched him with the girl behind the counter, smiling. She looks like a very smiley person. Yeah. So she's having a great time. I'm glad she had a good time at least. But unfortunately, you just don't know, do you? I expect Jesse came over very nice, very normal. I wonder if he obviously knows that woman. He's just introduced Grace to her. So Grace will feel safe. He seems to know a lot of people. Look, they're sat there in the corner. Look, yeah. It's all getting a bit more sort of romantic, few drinks. Oh. Yeah, look at the arm around the neck. I hate that. But you know what I say, don't I, every time you see a man or a woman, I suppose, either way round. His arm is round her neck, not around her waist. I don't know, there's just something about that. Just something. Now, this is where we get the first idea that Jesse is a total twonk, because in a moment, Grace goes off to the loo, very sillily, leaves her bag there. And one thing you'll learn from this is don't ever leave your bag or your phone. He's gone to the loo, first of all. She's probably on, she'll be checking the messages, maybe sending a message to her friend saying, oh, it's great. I think she had sent some messages to her friends saying she was having a good time. Oh, it didn't show it. But there's a point where she goes to the loo. He goes through her bag. He picks her bag up and starts looking through it. So here we can see they've both had a little bit to drink. They go off to the hotel where he's staying. It's a lovely hotel. Poor Grace. So, of course, what she didn't know, well, she would have felt safe. She's in a hotel. There's people there on the desk. She spent the evening with this. So he's rocking a little bit from side to side. So he's evidently had a little. Now we go to the next morning. Jesse appeared nonchalant. Grace is dead by now. Grace is deceased in the hotel room. And off he goes. When it comes to the trial, of course, he says eventually, when he finally admits to what he did, was an accident. So if it was an accident, why is he not on the phone right now to the police, ambulance, you name it? But no, he's not. He's going to the shopping centre. And he's going to the hardware store. And he's going to buy a suitcase. Look. Oh my God, it's chilling. So he's trying to see which one does he think will be big enough. Which suitcase does it? Which suitcase can he fit Grace's body in? Oh, that one. That one might do. Yeah, because she's only little. Horrible, horrible man. So bear in mind, when it comes to the trial then, he uses the rough sex defence. She wanted it. She wanted it. She instigated it, according to him, according to this twonk. She instigated it. She wanted the rough sex. It was an accident. He didn't mean to. He fell asleep in the shower. And when he woke up, when he went back into the room, she was deceased. But it was an accident. He doesn't even remember. So here he is. He's coming back in with the suitcase. He always checks out his appearance, Jesse. Everywhere he goes, he's having a look. What does he look like in the mirror? What does a murderer look like, Jesse? What organising his Tinder date? Because later that day, he goes off on another Tinder date. So he goes to the room. What does he do in there? Put her in the case there and then who knows? I would imagine he did, because he can't take a chance on someone coming in to clean the room or something like that, can they? So I expect he's already put her in the suitcase. And then off he goes to the hardware store, and this is where he buys his spade. I mean, he's as calm as anything. Gloves, bits and, sort of things you need to dispose of a body, I suppose. Plastic bags. So all the time, bear in mind, this is Grace's birthday. Because by now, isn't it the 2nd by now? Oh, sorry, I ended up. Sorry, I ended up. There you go. Or have I gone back again? Sorry. Yeah, back to the hotel with his bag of whatever. Check out his, just have a look what it looks like in the mirrors again. Yeah, because, he cares about what he looks like. He's got a dead body in his hotel room of a girl whose birthday it is today. But it's more important to have a look in the mirror and make sure he looks okay, isn't it? Oh, where's he off now? Oh, he's off on his Tinder date now, I think. I hate that when you're in a lift. You never know where to look, do you? When you're in a lift with other people. He gets in a taxi to go off somewhere. He doesn't really look bothered, does he? He looks like a little bit, maybe. A little bit. What is he thinking? He's probably got a hangover. He's got them eyes, hasn't he? Those evil eyes. Evil, evil eyes. Oh, he's going to a car rental place now. So they've all been going through his head. What do I do now? What do I do with this body? Oh, I know. I'll rent a car. Do you know, it just shows you, and watching this, to me, it's like, it's terrifying because those girls, they're dealing with him, obviously, he's a customer. They don't know that, oh, look at her getting in the lift, bless her. Wonder what she thought afterwards when she realised she'd been in that lift with someone who'd murdered a woman the night before. I'm sure she knows now. Oh, look, he's giving her a little once-over. Oh, yeah, yeah, you look lovely. Lovely, Jesse. You look bloody lovely. Not. So where's he off now? Is this when he goes on his Tinder date? He definitely went on a Tinder date before he disposed of the body even. Yeah. Oh my God. So apparently the woman that he went on the date with, while poor Grace was lying dead in the hotel room, he said something about disposing of her body. She found him creepy. Anyway, let's put it that way. There she is, the luckiest woman ever. She didn't like him. She found him creepy. She didn't like some of the things he was saying. He was talking about putting bodies in, hiding bodies, etc. So she didn't like him and nothing. God, would he have taken her back to the hotel room? I mean, what was he planning on doing? I don't know. God. Just shows you, doesn't it? All you just don't know, do you? When you're sort of walking around, yeah, have a good look at yourself. Oh, have a little scratch. Oh, just adjusting his or having a little scratch of his button mushroom. You know, as you're walking around anywhere, in a supermarket queue, doing, I don't know, sat in the cinema, doing whatever you do in your normal daily life. You don't know the person next to you what's going on, do you? I mean, what is he thinking? See, he will have known, of course, that Grace was there on her own. So he knew he had time, really, before anyone realised. I mean, he had her phone, of course. I don't know if he did anything with her phone, sent any messages or not. But he knew that it'd take a little while before a family in the UK realised she was missing, reported her missing, got the police involved. You know, he knew he had time, really, didn't he? These, like that shopping centre, it could be any shopping centre anywhere, isn't it? I haven't been to a shop. I've been to the supermarket this morning. I haven't been to a shopping centre this weekend. But you just don't know, do you? Who's coming in, going out, what they're up to, what they've got in the boot of their car. Who knows? And this is what a murderer looks like. You know, this is another thing that I keep on saying. I mean, really, you wouldn't, although Jesse, now we know what he's done and you can see his eyes look a bit evil, don't they? But really, if you didn't know, he's just a young lad, like Patrick Stevenson, like lots of others, you know, just look like a normal young lad. And then you realise, and you find out that actually they're a murderer. Murderers don't look like anything in particular. He likes looking at himself. Oh, he's getting a bit tired. You get a bit tired. It's nearly 8 o'clock now. Bloody hell, he's in and out, in and out. Might speed it up a little bit because there's still quite a bit to go. Actually, I think I might have made it slower now. That's better. This must be where he goes to get the spade. So you're looking at 8 o'clock in the evening now. Oh, what's he got there? That looks like an airport. No, it's not. It's the hotel again, isn't it? What's he got there? More cleaning stuff. Oh my God, that's like what's it? A carpet cleaner of some kind. He's gone off and cleaned up. Has he rented that? He must take it back as he's rented that, I presume. And once it's gone dark, here he is, gets into the lift with Grace's body in one of those suitcases. Well, I'm presuming she's in one of them. I don't think he cut her up. I don't think he did. So he's waited till it's gone dark and then he goes off to that sort of wildlife reserve type area. Poor Grace. So that's the whole purpose of why he's rented the car. So he hasn't wanted to get a taxi because the taxi driver, you know, would remember him as taking these suitcases and that. But of course, he's one of those, you know, thinks he's much cleverer than he actually is because he doesn't realise his every move is being recorded on CCTV. A bit like David Knezovich. You know, they just think they're so clever, don't they? So clever. Oh, he's having a laugh and joke with the receptionist. Ha, ha, ha. And there he is. Off he goes with Grace's body in his car. See where he is here now. Gosh, he's been filmed all over the place, hasn't he? It is very like Stefan Stearns, this, or any other case. You know, people just don't realise there's CCTV everywhere. Oh, this is where he's buying a spade, I think. Because, I mean, he's been in so many different stores, bought so he bought the suitcase, then he bought the cleaning stuff, rented the bloody carpet cleaner or whatever that thing was he had, and now he's going to buy a spade. Not realising that all this, you know, these people, you know, I know the police started off thinking there was no foul play as always. Or did they just say that, I wonder, because they just, at the end of the day, until they get all this information together, I suppose you could say they don't know that there is any foul play, do they? So, you know, what they're going to say, oh yeah, this foul play, when they have got no proof. And in the meantime, there he is with his spade. In the meantime, they're collecting all this information together. This poor guy later will have been looking at thinking that, yeah, he's the guy who came into my shop where I was working, bought a spade, and all the time he had a dead body in his trunk. I mean, where's he getting his money from? He's, you know, he seems to have this unlimited amount of money. I don't know where does he get his money from? Oh, thank you. Thank you for the spade. Have a check of your receipt. Just make sure they haven't overcharged you. Back to the hotel again. God. So this is the next day now. Where's his shoes? He's got no shoes on. Oh, I expect he thought he was so clever because when he buried her body or dumped her body, so clever, didn't wear his shoes, so didn't pick up any You know, didn't pick up any evidence, you know, from the grass or anything like that. Oh, you're so clever, so clever. Took your shoes off, didn't you? Little shit. So presumably he has dumped the body by now. Now he's getting rid of, well, who knows? Probably all the anything that he thinks might have any DNA on it. Trying to remove all last traces of Grace's existence. But it was an accident. It was an accident. That's why he took these. Just, do you know, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? If, as he stated, you know, as he pleaded, that it was an accident, why is he going to these great lengths to clear up after himself, even though he failed miserably, thank God? Oh, he's at the dry cleaners now. These will be his clothes. He won't have kept any of her clothes, will he? Be clothes or bedding. Yeah, get the wallet out again. He's got this bottomless wallet. I hope I never kill anyone by accident because I won't be able to afford to do all this. God, he can't even walk in those trousers. They're too small, Jesse. Now, he'll have gone one of two ways in prison. He'll have either put on what he looks like he's got a little bit of a, I mean, listen, I have as well. God, if I went to prison, you know, prisoners seem to either put on loads of weight, don't they, or lose loads of weight. Seems to go one way or another. I don't know how it's gone with Jesse. There he is now cleaning his car out. But it was an accident. It was an accident. So, remember David? Again, it reminds me of David Konobovich. So he didn't only clean out the hire car he had, but he had tinted windows put in it and got the number plate changed. And he still thinks the police wouldn't realise there was anything strange. God. I was reading or watching on some program the other day, probably some true crime thing that I was watching on YouTube. You know, these like psychopaths, sociopaths, they just don't believe you won't believe them. You know, they don't think that their actions will come over to people as being odd because they think they're so clever, you know. So he's coming back with 2 suitcases there. Left with 3, I think, didn't he? Yeah, have a little look at your appearance again. Always checks his appearance out. Gosh. Oh. That girl, when he got out, she thought she was proud. Oh, now he's going on his date. Now he's got, that looks like he's going on a date now, doesn't it, with his jacket on? Oh, yeah, you look absolutely gorgeous with your 2 tight trousers on. How many dates did he go on? So this is the 12th now, is it? Or the 3rd of... Oh, no, we're still on the 3rd of the 12th. More dry cleaning. So this is different dry cleaning, is it? Who knows? Right, it's nearly finished, not long to go now. I'll just fast forward. Let's make it go a little bit quicker again. What's he doing there? Oh, he's throwing stuff away in different bins. Oh, he thinks he's so clever. Oh my God, this is again, it's like Stephen Stearns, isn't it? So he's took bits, that's probably her possessions or something to do with her. He's thrown a bit in that bin, bit in that bin, bit in that bin. Nobody will ever link it up. And all the time he was being filmed. I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall when they showed him all this CCTV that he thought he'd been so clever about. Now he's got a suit on again. God. The thought, look, he's giving her a look as well. The thought of being a woman and knowing you'd been in the lift with him. Oh, yeah, have a look at yourself. You look beautiful. Gorgeous. So handsome. Twat. Is this the police? Right. This looks like this is when the police have arrived. Oh. Oh, yeah, because when he gets arrested, he's got this suit on, yeah. Oh, look, sees the police. Look at that. Sees the police. Stops immediately. So they're at the door. So he's coming back. He's on his way back to the hotel room. Sees the police. Stops in his tracks. See how he had to look at him? Yeah. Oh, casually. Oh no, I wasn't going there. No. I was just going there. He's going to start legging it in a minute. Well, he's got to come back sooner or later. Look, the police are going out for him. There you go. Oh my God. Yep, there they go after him. Wow. Well, that was very interesting. Thank you, Herald. I hope they don't strike me, copyright strike me. But a very interesting video, wasn't it? Now, there's more video of him being interrogated as well that we're going to have a look at. Let me just, because there's so much still. Do you know what I think I'm going to do is
missing for several days. As you know, Grace has been missing for several days. We last had contact with her on Saturday, the 1st of December. And as a family, we've been extremely concerned for her welfare. Grace is a lovely, outgoing, fun-loving, family-orientated daughter. Grace has never been out of contact for this amount of time.
Oh.
She's usually in daily contact with either her mother, myself, her two brothers, members of the family on social media. We're all extremely upset, and it's very difficult at this time to fully describe the range of emotions we are going through. While we are very grateful for the media coverage, both here and back home, we are finding the situation quite upsetting, and we sincerely hope that the media continue to respect our privacy. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to appeal to anybody who has seen, spoken to, or come into contact with Grace over the last few days, and to come forward with any detail, no matter how small, and contact the investigation team. Once again, I thank you all for coming.
Now, that's especially poignant because very shortly after the trial, Grace's dad died, David, of cancer. He was shortly after the trial, he was diagnosed with cancer, and he died in 2020. So it's especially poignant that. We're going to talk more about that in part 2. We're going to look at the interviews, Jesse's interviews. We're going to look about the name suppression, etc. There's quite a lot more that I want to say about this case, and I think, you know, the video's gone on quite long now, and it'd be too long if I try and put it all in. And also, I want to look at some of the positive things that have come out of the loss of Grace and the loss of David. You know, how Grace's family, particularly her mum, you know, they've tried to make something positive come out of this whole thing, and we're going to look at that. So, thank you for watching so far. I'll see you in part 2, and rest in peace, Grace and David, her dad. And I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, as always, may your God go with you. Bye.